Alright, so this is SoulStar for the SegaCD. This game was released in 1994 and developed by Core Design. Now, as I mentioned when I picked this game up, Core Design was a company that was really known for pushing the technical capabilities of the SegaCD, and you're definitely going to see that in this game. So starting off on level 1, as you can see, we're in a outer space shooting style level. And just like Star Fox, this game has 3 different types of levels. You have levels where you're flying in space and you're shooting at other spaceships. You have levels where you come down hovering over a planet, over the surface, and you can shoot other spaceships and targets on the ground. And you also have levels where you're inside like a 3D tunnel, and you got to avoid objects going through the tunnel. And you even have levels in here, which you don't have in Star Fox, where you can actually turn around 360 degrees. Most of these shooter levels are similar to Star Fox, and at Star Fox you have to think of it, it's kind of like you're in a tunnel. Even those levels where you're out in space, you can't turn around. You're always going forward, as if you're in an imaginary tunnel. And most of the levels in this are similar to that. It's all about the shooting. And then you have levels where you can actually rotate 360 degrees and go all around. So, very awesome variety of levels. As you can see so far, it's pretty much just a standard space shooter. You have lots of power-ups, extra weapons you can collect. You have a basic weapon. Your basic phaser weapon basically has unlimited amount of ammo, and then you get bombs and missiles and extra power-ups as you go through. Now, you tech heads out there are going to notice the amount of sprite scaling in this game. So far in this level, we've really only seen that on the objects in the background and the enemy ships. It looks pretty good. But then when you get to the next level, which is one of these levels where you're hovering over the planet, and you see the detail on the ground, it's so fast and smooth, and there's no stutter or judder, and the difference between the ground itself and the objects sticking out of the ground, those separate sprites that are all scaling towards you, it's fast and it's smooth. It looks amazing. Like I said, Core Design is really well known for pushing the extra scaling and rotation hardware that the SegaCD gives to the Genesis, and games like this, Battle Corps, Thunderhawk, and BC Racers really show that off. The controls for the most part are pretty simple. The D-pad moves the ship up, down, left, and right on the screen. You're usually always moving forward at a set speed in all the shooting style levels. A shoots, B changes weapons. That's it. Really quite straightforward. Until you get into the 3D levels, the levels that you can move around in 360 degrees, the controls are quite different there, and I'll explain that. And here's another great example of the amazing scaling hardware in the SegaCD and how it's been taken advantage of in this game. You look at that object in the background, and it's gradually getting slightly larger and slightly larger. And at first you're like, oh, that's okay, that's kind of cool. And as you're playing through the level, you realize it's getting bigger and bigger until the point it's filling up the whole screen and then some. And it is a really good example of the scaling hardware. It's a shame that more people didn't make games that really took advantage of this, because this really shows you what the SegaCD is capable of. It's not just there for those full motion video games that got flooded onto the machine. And here's one of the full 3D levels. Now you can move around in a full 360 degrees. You're not like going down an invisible tunnel where you're always moving forward. But this makes the controls a lot more complicated. Before you were always moving forward, so you didn't have to do anything about your speed. Now here, the D-pad will move the ship forward and in reverse. It'll also strife it to the left and right. If you hold down C, then the D-pad will do something different. You hold down C, up and down will change the elevation, so you can rise the elevation up and down, and left and right will actually rotate the ship on the spot. So now you can move forward and reverse, up, down, and you can strife or rotate the ship. So it makes the controls a little more complicated, but you really have full control over the ship. And once again, just look at these graphics. This is absolutely amazing. This is on the SegaCD, man. Like, this looks better than a lot of the 3DO games I've been playing lately. And those were pretty good for the time. Once again, man, this just really shows you what this system is capable of. Really an amazing game here. And now that I'm done fooling around, let me tell you, this is the first time I'm playing the game. So I actually had to really get used to the controls there. And here's one of the first major boss fights. You're gonna have to take advantage of the fact that you can raise and lower your altitude. And when she attacks you high with this ring that comes out, you have no choice but to, come down and avoid it. So you have to change your altitude here. And it's a pretty cool boss fight. Once again, I'm going to compare this to Star Fox a lot. It's very reminiscent of one of the Star Fox bosses. But honestly, these graphics just blow Star Fox away. And I realize you can't really compare them because Star Fox is a full, true 3D game using polygons. This isn't. This is all 2D sprites and scaling. But what one looks better? Be honest. Like I said, I'm just blown away by how good this looks. And it's so smooth. It's so smooth and fast. And I mean, the detail on the ground, that scaling and rotation on the ground is phenomenal. It really is. I'm surprised at how good this game is. Now here we are out into another space level. Coming near the end of it here, we've got a bunch of asteroids that we have to avoid. Now once again, it sounds familiar, but look at it. It looks amazing, the way the asteroids come at the screen, the way they almost do look like they're 3D objects. Pretty sure that they're not, but I could be wrong. Maybe the asteroids here are. It does look like they're rotating, but it could just be an animation trick. But once again, the scaling in the background as this object comes up that we come up to, and this brings us into one of the tunnel levels that I was talking about. Yeah, once again, very similar to Star Fox with these kind of pseudo 3D tunnels. Well, of course in Star Fox they were 3D, but once again, two completely different games in terms of the technology that they used. And I certainly love Star Fox. It's a fun game. But this one's just really surprised me. It came out of nowhere, and I think that's really why I'm so amazed by it. Interesting fact about this game, there are a couple unreleased ports. One, interestingly enough, for the Atari Jaguar CD. And there are some screenshots out there on the web, and judging by those, what they say is it looked similar to the SegaCD version, except it probably ran in a higher resolution and had even better texturing. So that would be pretty impressive to see. And there was also a version made for the Sega 32X called SoulStar X. It was in development. A prototype of it was actually found and has been released to the public. So that's pretty cool. But officially this game was only released on the SegaCD, which just makes it that much cooler. And if you're looking for a reason to get a SegaCD, maybe you wanted Sonic CD and a few other games, you're on the fence, this game's going to push you over, man. This game is worth getting a SegaCD for, being that it's only on the SegaCD, and it's a great game. Anyways, I think that this game speaks for itself. It's one of the best looking Sega CD games I've ever seen. Hands down, it looks amazing. And it's fun, it's fast, the controls are fast, the graphics are fast and fluid, really amazing gameplay. This game is awesome. If you like 3D space shooters, if you like Star Fox, and you're looking for a good game for your SegaCD, this is definitely a must-have. Go out and pick this one up right now. I know it's a little hard to find, probably costs you a little bit more than most SegaCD games, but it's so worth it. This game is amazing.